What's up, people of the space? Welcome back to rLounge. Remember this always, even when it causes you to lose people in the process. People who do not stand up for what they believe in never truly live. Today on rLounge, let's live a little. Just do you and don't worry what they think of you. Our first OP does just that. Am I the a-hole for leaving my best friend and his friends stranded in an unfamiliar city? So, for background, my best friend has gotten into going to these Spartan races. He and a small group of his friends have started going to local ones, but recently heard about one in another state they wanted to go to and compete in, but they didn't have anywhere to stay. So they asked me if they could borrow my truck and trailer. I have a tow-behind camper for the weekend. I said no. I wasn't comfortable with them taking my truck and trailer, but that I'd drive them and the camper to the event. We made the 3-hour trip and set everything up in the area where the race was taking place the next day. I have a habit of leaving my keys on a hook next to the door to my bedroom in my camper. Remember this. Come nightfall, I went to take a phone call outside and ended up wandering around the grounds for over an hour. When I got back to the camper, the door was locked, and I was told by my best friend's older friend through the window that there wasn't enough room for me and my trailer. So I reached for my keys to unlock the door, but realized I had left them inside the camper on the hook in my room. So I called my best friend from outside, and all I was told was, "Sorry bro, nothing I can do." So I ended up sleeping in my truck that night, which I had fortunately left unlocked by accident. The race began at 8 a.m., and at 7, they came meandering out of the trailer and woke me up. No apology, by the way. So while they were in their race, I hooked my truck back up to the trailer, closed and locked everything, and waited until just after they finished and had started walking back to the trailer. Think really wide open field. When I saw them coming, I started the truck and drove off the property, with them chasing behind. I made the 3-hour trip back home, declining call after call. When I finally got home, I finally took my best friend's call. He started yelling at me, saying, "Why would you do this? We have no way home now." I just said, "Sorry, you shouldn't have made me sleep in my truck after I did you this solid." He told me that there were better ways to handle this than by leaving them in an unfamiliar city with no way home. I think he ended up calling his dad to come and get them. Is he right? Was there a better way to handle this? I felt justified until he said that. I'm kind of doubting my decision now. Am I the a-hole? Ask for judgment from the community and you shall get it. First, from Sad Weird 8353. Not the a-hole. They're Spartan warriors, right? They should run home. The next comment from It Is Dale. You should have said, "Sorry bro, nothing I can do." Stompasaurian thinks, not the a-hole. Was there a more adult way to deal with this? Definitely. Did they deserve to be treated like adults after the disrespectful, asinine, and childish stunt they pulled? No. F those guys. They got what they deserved. Our next response is from Responsible Diet 389. Not the a-hole. Who tells someone they can't sleep in their own camper? He's not your best friend. Left Car 6520 wanted to add, I'm just really confused what these people's thought process was. They really thought they'd lock you out of your own camper and you'd smile and drive them home? Was it harsh? Yes. Did they deserve it? Also yes. They're grown. They can find their way home. Not the a-hole. I think they definitely shouldn't have locked you out of your own trailer, OP. That was extremely selfish and inconsiderate of them. No matter what they were going through or thinking at the time, that was wrong. That being said, I think trying to teach them a lesson probably wasn't the best thing to do, because you're better than that. I think there maybe could have been a conversation explaining that you were unlikely to show them the same courtesy again after they totally abused your trust and kindness. It's important to be the best version of ourselves whenever we can, even when we're being tested. What about you? What would you have done in this situation? Next up, dance like no one's watching, or pose like your neighbor is recording you? Am I the a-hole for making sexy poses while neighbor kept recording me for no reason? My dad passed away recently and he left me 26 male and my sister, 31 female, his house. It's super unkempt, so I've been doing lots of yard work outside in the mornings. I'm out there watering the grass in the mornings and evenings. Every single time I've done this, the neighbor right next door, who's like this older granny, comes out to her porch and straight up watches me without even hiding it. I introduced myself to her once, that me and my sister are the new owners after my dad passed, but it was obvious she didn't want to talk. Next thing, she started coming outside with her phone pointing the camera right at me. I'm like, is there a problem? She says there's no problem as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I asked her why is she recording me then? Neighbor lady goes, "What's the problem with me recording if you're not doing anything wrong?" It's so effing weird. I didn't even know how to respond to the situation. As soon as I finished up to go back inside, she went back to her house too. This happens every single day. I'm outside watering the grass. Always the same excuse that she wants to make sure I'm not doing anything else, or if I do, it's on camera. So yesterday, I got fed up and decided to do something different. When she came out with her phone, I stuck my butt out and put my hand on my hip, looking right at her. At first, she was like, "What the F?" But then she got really mad when I started wetting myself with the water hose and touching my neck while literally looking directly at her. Was it stupid? Yes, but she put her phone away and started cussing me out for being a pervert. My sister told me later on that she came to the house when I was at work talking about me sexually harassing her, making poses in provocative ways. My sister knows she's a pain in the butt since she probably has nothing better to do with her time. But I still shouldn't have stooped to her level, making her uncomfortable right back. I feel like I'm right on this one, and it wasn't even that bad. Not like I was grabbing my balls or anything, but also can be a dumbass sometimes, so I don't know, you guys tell me. Was I an a-hole? Let's see what the community thinks. Was this person an a-hole? AITA123 says, "This is the best thing I've read in a while." Resounding not the a-hole. Our next comment from Annie Sky X. "Yep, this is great. That lady sucks and I hope she starts minding her own. Not the a-hole." Blue-Eyed Lemon wanted to throw in, "Not the a-hole. Call her a pervert right back for filming it. Sounds like she really needs to start minding her own business like the rest of us do. Houses change owners. There's literally nothing wrong or weird about that." The OP responds, "And it's not like she doesn't know we don't own that house. I introduced us as my dad's kids. We didn't just randomly show up one day." Slab Beef Punch has the next comment. "Next time, get your phone out and record her right back. Don't say anything, just pull out that phone and start recording." ViscerHops23 thinks, "Not the a-hole. Although now I'm wondering if your and your sister's house is in an HOA neighborhood and your neighbor is just looking for something to complain about." The OP responded, "Luckily we don't, because otherwise we would have sold that crap so quick. We've read the nightmares and wouldn't want to be stuck in that." If anything, you're taking your power back and showing her you aren't going to tolerate her behavior, OP. She can't videotape you without your consent. She tried to take control of the situation and you made a mockery of it, which is probably the best way to handle the scenario without getting the police involved. It was definitely a power tactic on her part to sort of prove some sense of dominance. Unfortunately, she's just managed to make things awkward between the both of you, and she, now, looks ridiculous. Honestly, I'd just go about my business and act like she doesn't exist. She's trying to prove something and it's not working. If you don't engage, she'll back off. People like this love confrontation, and they love to get a rise out of someone. If you don't give her that, she'll get uninterested. Let us know how you'd handle this situation in the comments. And while you do that, lastly, our last OP is a man of his word. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish even if it makes her uncomfortable? My late best friend and I knew each other since we were little. We were next door neighbors and always played together. We even went to the same kindergarten, primary school, and middle and high school together. One day during our sophomore year, we started talking about how most of our classmates had started dating. We obviously weren't okay with that and decided to get up on all of them by getting married. As a joke, I made her a fake ring and she gave me her scrunchie. A few weeks later, a drunk driver hit her. She sustained multiple injuries and was in the ICU for 2 months. The doctor told her family that her survival chances are slim. And the only time I talked to her before she died, she made me promise to always visit her on our wedding anniversary and to wear her scrunchie during the visit. 4 years ago, when I started dating my girlfriend, I told her about it and asked if she was okay with it. She commented about how sweet and nice the tradition was and told me she was perfectly fine with it. Today was the 10th anniversary and I took the day off. Before my girlfriend went to work, she told me it's time to put this tradition to rest and move on because it was starting to get pathetic that I still wear a dead girl scrunchie to celebrate a fake marriage that we had 10 years ago. I was furious at her comments because she wasn't just a dead girl. She was my best friend and like a sister to me. We grew up and did everything together. I told my girlfriend a long time ago that we never had a sexual or romantic relationship and that our wedding was just a joke. It's not like I talk about her or keep her photos around the house or anything similar. The only times I've talked about her to my girlfriend is when I told her if she was okay with the tradition or if she asked me about her. When I told her that I'll keep honoring my best friend's dying wish, even if it made her uncomfortable, she left for work angry at me and hasn't come back home yet. Let's check in with the reaction from the community. First up, Amanda McKnight. not the a-hole. But if she's been fine up until now, then maybe she's upset about something else. Like there's been a feeling that the relationship has fallen into complacency. So she's lashed out at a display of you showing something else as being meaningful? Temperance 26684 says, after 4 years, she might be annoyed that he's still honoring a fake marriage without giving her the commitment of a real one with her. I wonder if she's reaching a point where she wants to get married and is feeling resentful. Edit. I'm not condoning her behavior at all. If this is her reasoning, then she needs to have a mature discussion rather than being underhanded. I was just speculating on her behavior. Weakness-free 9869 wanted to add, she's a big girl. She can use her words. Edit. This comment of mine is a response to the comment just above, which is a fair possible explanation for her behavior in the situation. And it's catty because I think that while it's a valid possibility, it doesn't excuse her in any way. Imaginary Aioli thinks, not the a-hole, and your girlfriend is being an absolute a-hole. Don't feel bad about honoring your friend how you want to honor her. Don't doubt how you feel at all, and if your girlfriend can't understand that, that's her problem. I hope the support of Reddit will help you realize that you've done nothing wrong. Update. When I came back home from work Tuesday, I found her sitting on the couch. She looked like she had been crying before I got there. After she saw me, she held her head and broke down crying again. When I asked her what's wrong, she started apologizing and begging for my forgiveness. I calmed her and told her she needed to talk to me first. She said that she didn't have the guts to look me in the eye after what she did and that she hasn't been able to sleep ever since. She told me that she's been feeling like a piece of crap after talking about my best friend the way she did and also hurting my feelings as a result. She admitted she really saw my tradition as nice and sweet when I first told her about it, but still thought I'd stop doing it after each passing year. She told me she never considered herself the jealous or controlling type, but what she did really showed her true colors. She told me that I don't deserve a crappy girlfriend like her because for the whole time we were together, I always listened to her, treated her with love, respect, and kindness, and made her feel like the most important girl in the world, and in return, she thanked me by being a mean-spirited partner that was jealous and cruel and who tried to deprive me from the few hours I get to have each year to honor a sweet and loving memory of a friend. She said she'd understand if I wanted to break up with her, but asked me to forgive her because she didn't think she'd be able to forgive herself and apologized again. Hearing all that was really a lot to digest. I took a few minutes to gather my thoughts. Then I told her that forgiveness was a process and I wouldn't mean it if I said I did right then. I assured her that her feelings were valid whether I agreed with them or not, and that having them doesn't make her a bad person, but told her that the way she acted on them at first was hurtful, tasteless, and rude. I said that I accept her apology because it was sincere, and that I really appreciate her being honest with me. I told her I meant what I said before about wanting to spend the rest of my life with her, and reminded her that we always faced hardships and setbacks as a team, and this one wasn't any different. She replied saying that I was the love of her life, and that she couldn't believe she was going to throw all we had away because of jealousy. She made me promise to never feel guilty about honoring my best friend's memory. We talked and hugged each other for a long time, and then fell asleep on the couch. I just want to thank you all for the comments, advice, and suggestions because they really helped and played a huge role in navigating this situation. I believe they made me consider a lot of scenarios and think about a lot of stuff which hadn't crossed my mind before. Our first response is from FitBear. This was heartwarming to read. Thank you for the update, and I'm glad you're both able to talk through things. Good luck. Solid Quote 9133 says, this was great to read. This was so nice. I'm happy it worked out. Oh man, did W had one more thought. I've read your OP before and it made me tear up. And now after reading your update, I just want to say that you are an amazing person. It's funny reading some comments you received that carried the, not the a-hole, but you obviously did something very wrong that you aren't telling us tone. You wrote a thoughtful comment about the conversations you had with your therapist and assuring your girlfriend that she will always come first, and someone was like, yeah, that's nice, and all. You're very thoughtful about what's going on in your head and how to manage your feelings. But how well have you listened to your girlfriend to actually know what she's thinking? And it got upvoted more than your reply because you obviously didn't listen. If you didn't listen to your girlfriend, then you'd be an a-hole. If you did listen to her, then people would just say, well, how well have you listened? Like they did in the OP. And even if you replied that you listened well enough, they will just reply and say, well, clearly not well enough. Being on this sub for a few months now, I feel like if OP was a woman, the highest upvoted comment in the post would have been, not the a-hole, red flag your boyfriend is crazy and jealous. But since it's a guy, it's like, not the a-hole, but are you really sure you aren't the a-hole? And not the a-hole, but have you tried being a mind reader? Benefit of the doubt for me, but not the, and all that. I'm so glad that your girlfriend was able to be honest with you, OP. It takes a lot of guts to be open with someone and express how you feel. You are right to say that forgiveness is a process. There's definitely healing involved. But if you both remain open and transparent with each other, you'll move forward with a healthy relationship. Obviously, your best friend meant the world to you, and there's still a lot of hurt there. Grief will always be there. It never goes away. It comes and goes when it wants, on its own time. Your girlfriend has to try her best to understand that, and you should feel open and honest to communicate that with her as well. You shouldn't feel anxious or reluctant to talk about her with your girlfriend, OP. Your girlfriend will have to work on figuring out her own demons and why things like this fill her with jealousy. Be patient with both each other on this journey. Wishing you both the best. What would you say to your partner if they reacted this way? Let us know below. And as always, thank you for joining us here at rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so you don't miss our next video. As always, if you have feedback on today's content, please let us know in the comments below. Catch you later.